New for 2022, we have the TaylorMade Spider GT putter line. We're going to dive in and take a look at these. Chris, let's talk about what kind of new tech TaylorMade's bringing this year.
So expanding on that extremely popular Spider line, 4 new head designs. So essentially each one of them is going to be taking advantage of multi-material construction, utilizing some aluminum, some steel, some tungsten, and also we're going to have a brand new Pure Roll 2 insert.
Okay.
So still incorporating that TPU urethane, also bringing in some new aluminum material and incorporating those grooves that we're used to seeing, 45 degrees, help with a little bit more topspin on the putt, and also repositioning this tungsten. I mean, looking at these 4 different shapes, everything this year is about forgiveness and consistency with distance control. Each head design is going to be available 2 different hosel configurations. So they're carrying forward the drop-in hosel that we had last year. So available in either face balance version or incorporating a little bit of a slant neck. Let's start with what they're referring to as their more classic design, which is going to be the new Notchback.
Wonderful.
So one thing to keep in mind with this particular head design is they are going to have 2 tungsten bars. So tungsten in this particular model are going to be situated more around the perimeter, and it's going to be 172 grams, essentially making this aluminum head design extremely stable and a little bit more resistant to twisting on the off-center hits.
Okay.
So let's hit this and see what we think.
All right, great. Easy alignment aid. You can tell right off the jump there, that's nice and easy to line up. It's not twisting much for a shaft that's, you know, obviously a little bit more of a toe hang. I'm noticing that I'm not feeling as much kind of toe release through impact, which I prefer. Sure. It actually feels very stable. Feels really good.
What would you say kind of helped to differentiate this from some previous generation Spider models that we've tested?
Hands down, what I noticed the most was the face. Very responsive, but putting a nice roll on the ball, and I can see that even on this turf.
Second head design we want to test from the new Spider GT line is going to be rollback.
Okay.
So biggest difference straight away looking at the optics.
Okay.
So optics here, a little bit cleaner top line. No break as far as the optical assistance, goes all the way through the leading edge.
Okay.
We do continue that incorporation of tungsten for that added stability and enhanced distance control. So let's take a look at this and see what you think.
Sounds great. Great sound, and like you mentioned, the alignment aid, the way the lines go all the way through to the ball. If you're someone who uses the line on the ball, that's going to have a really nice look.
So notchback design that we initially tested did have that small slant neck. This is going to be face balanced single bend. So single bend does take that head design and take it from a little bit of a toe balance design into more of a face balance.
I'm a big fan of face balance putters, so this one feels a little bit more natural in my hands.
A little more like home to you?
A little more like home, but not to say the other one didn't feel great. This just looks really clean.
So despite the fact that all of them are incorporating that new Pure Roll 2 insert, this one does have a little different sound to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely hear the acoustics. I don't know if it's because of the way it's designed without that notch in the back.
Sure.
But man, definitely sounds great.
And with multi-material construction, where they incorporate the aluminum, the steel, the tungsten, and also just the overall weight of the top shell of those putters, I could see it playing a little bit into the acoustics that we're noticing here in this in the rollback design.
For sure, and that's a very underrated part of putting. I think acoustic feedback, you talk about it with drivers, woods, irons, but as far as putters go, you definitely want it to sound nice, and this one has that sound that I think people are going to appreciate.
Rollback and notchback, both good options. Third head that I want to test is going to be Spider GT Splitback.
Okay.
So in my opinion, another classic design that TaylorMade is carrying forward, reminiscent of the Spider S. So they are going to be incorporating that similar contrast of the black and white optic that we did see in Spider S, but bringing in a stainless steel head, whereas notchback and rollback, we're going to be more of that aluminum body incorporating more tungsten.
Okay.
So they do have stainless steel, positioned to the perimeter, more forgiveness, more stability, more consistency in misshits, and same story as all the Spider GT family, all about forgiveness.
Perfect.
So, let's take a look.
This one looks great. I like the contrast, alignment aids. Feels pretty good.
Again, different sound.
Definitely a different sound.
But makes sense. Again, multi-material construction and going from the aluminum heads that we've previously tested into steel head.
This one feels great. Definitely has a little pop to it with that face technology. You can see it's moving a little quicker.
That's exactly what they were going for. New Pure Roll 2 is going to be firmer than previous Pure Roll design. So they took some of the feedback that they were getting from their tour staff and some of their brand ambassadors and did firm that face insert up a little bit.
Very responsive, but very resistant to twisting. I do like the contrast from the head to the face. You can see that white face. You can kind of tell if that face is too far open or maybe you're too far forward pressed, so you can see if the right amount of loft is on there.
Sure.
Before you hit the putt.
Final head that I want to test is going to be a new introduction to the Spider line. So GT here is going to again take advantage of multi-material construction, incorporating that heavy dense steel situated towards the outer perimeter here in the wings, and then also bringing in an aluminum top cap that only consists of about 18% of the total weight, allowing for, again, extreme forgiveness and consistency in ball speed and distance control.
Right.
Let's take a look here.
I'm very excited about this one. This is the one that caught my eye when I looked at the lineup of putters. This one here just had a great look from the top. And I do like the shorter visual alignment aid. Very easy to line up, very square lines. And I love the little fangs that stick out the back. Feels very nice, very stable. I can tell there's not a lot of twist through impact, and I think that's probably a combination of the single bend and the way they've constructed this head.
Hey, one important takeaway for the whole Spider GT family is taking advantage of all of that perimeter weighting, reducing the twist on the off-center hit, and just consistency with that new face, all of that perimeter weighting, and just giving us the most distance control that we can get out of a new putter family.
People are going to miss across this face, so having that forgiveness across the face, get more consistent distance control, make more putts on the putts that maybe you didn't hit as square as you'd like to. That's going to really help to lower scores. This thing has an incredible feel.
Now that we've hit some putts, I'm curious to see how new shape, new design, essentially new innovation for Spider GT line kind of stacks up with a few of the more classic designs that we've seen from the past.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So let's take a look. Oh, just got done doing some testing. Went through the whole family, all four heads, Spider GT. So interestingly enough, very first one that we tested in Notchback turned out to be the best for you. Now, not adjusting anything with lofts or lies or lengths, no testing with different grips, just something that you would pick right off of the shelf.
Yep.
This did turn out to be the best.
Interesting.
Now, I would make a little adjustment to some static loft, also definitely recommend a grip change for us. But just as they come, we did see some really good results with that Notchback. I know you were a little partial to the GT, the new shape.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody wants new toys.
Yes.
But classic tended to be the best one for you.
Of course, like as you mentioned, I was really partial to that Spider GT because it is new, but this classic shape has been one that they've had a lot of success with over the years. They've carried it over and obviously added a lot of new tech with the tungsten weighting along the perimeter. Very stable, and you know what surprised me most was this hosel option. I have typically gravitated towards a single bend. With this hosel here, the roll was consistent, it felt great. We were getting very consistent front to back dispersion as far as where that ball was ending up and making a lot of putts. So I was very pleased with how it tested and how it felt.
I mean, you're currently playing Spider, right?
Correct.
So transitioning into new Spider GT, advancement of new Pure Roll 2 face design, what would you say biggest takeaway with that new face?
It definitely feels hotter and you can feel it a lot more where you're hitting across the face. So for me, that's going to be a little bit more easy to hit in the middle. You're not taking such a long stroke for the length of putt that you need because you are getting that more consistent topspin roll. So compared to Pure Roll 2, I definitely felt had a little bit tighter deviation with that topspin or that forward roll. And I did notice a little bit more firmer feedback in my hand, so I was able to tell where I was hitting it across the face. overall, very happy with how it felt and performed. Over the years, we've seen the bigger Spider into smaller Spider into now what looks nothing like the previous iteration of the Spider.
There's not much left from what we have come to know as the Spider shape.
For sure.
So they are gearing more towards 4 new contemporary designs, still maintaining that Spider name. But as you had kind of mentioned, there's a shape, there's an optic, there's a feel for pretty much everybody out there.
Without a doubt.
So if you're a mallet fan, definitely worth checking out Spider GT.